You're watching the Coaches Roundtable on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. From the Butler Cubs Athletic Association, it's a Coaches Roundtable. I'm Ed Cody. To my right, the Swami George Abraham. To my left, the Tiger Albert Campman. Guys, let's go to the spotlight. So many championship games, state playoffs going on in several different sports. But we start with the WPIL football playoffs. 5A championship, Pine Richland 35, Peters Township nothing. Pine Richland's fourth WPIL title in the last 7 years. Quarterback Cole Spencer, he threw for 130 and a touchdown, ran for 103 and a touchdown. Running back Brooks Eastbum, 103 yards and a touchdown. And wide receiver Eli Holcomb, he had 8 receptions, 71 yards and a touchdown. Next up for Pine Richland, 9-0. They take on Governor Mifflin, led by Penn State, Ohio State, and Notre Dame recruit, junior running back Nicholas Singleton. For Pine, 8 of their 9 games this year by the mercy rule.
Yeah, we've talked about this on the show before, but I want to mention it again. Their defense. They
don't get enough credit.
They don't. That's the strength of their team, and they get the ball back after 3 downs. The offense is on the field all the time because the defense is fantastic. Congratulations to the defensive coordinator and their defense for flying out of the weather, but we know how good you are.
And I've always told Coach Kasparovich, pat your offensive line coach on the back. What a great job they do. This quarterback doesn't get touched.
They run block well, they pass block well, and I'll give coach staff tremendous. They get the ball out quick, though. They do it. Of all the teams I watch, that ball's out of the hand so quickly.
Well, 8 receptions, 72 yards.
Yeah.
That tells you all you need to know. You play back, they'll take what whatever.
They'll throw 17 of them.
Absolutely.
They'll throw 17 quick passes in a row.
In the 4A championship game, Thomas Jefferson 35, Aliquippa 28 in overtime. It was a terrific game. The Quips just came up with one play short. They were driving for the tying touchdown in overtime, and it was picked off.
370 boys to 117. Some PIAA better look into that. It's not fair. Only Aliquippa could do this. A 5'7", 155-pound quarterback that will not, they do things that are amazing down there. It took the pedigree.
And
the pedigree of Thomas Jefferson to beat him.
And then overtime.
Yes.
In
order
to
do
do it.
Undefeated Oil City, right?
Yeah, that's it. Next up, 10-0 Oil City. And interesting for me, that's where I got my start teaching and coaching.
Oil City better be oil and up a little bit.
Yeah. They have two outstanding running backs.
But if Thomas Jefferson beat
Jefferson will be.
If they beat Aliquippa, I know.
What they're going to do.
I don't think Aliquippa will be scared playing Oil City.
No, Oil City hasn't played anyone like that.
No.
That's for sure. No. By the way, this was the 9th championship for Coach Bill Cherpak.
Yeah, and he made a big mistake in the game, and I'll call him out for it. You got a big lead. The Steelers did it again yesterday. The Steelers, and George and I talked about it. You got a 2-touchdown lead at the 40-yard line going in, and you throw a pass and get it intercepted.
Why?
No reason to throw the ball.
Why?
Yeah, you throw the ball and throw an interception.
I
now nobody's going to call them out on it because they won the game.
Yeah. They won the game.
But
you get away with it.
It was a big mistake.
It doesn't mean it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And in 3A, how about powerful Central Valley 35, Elizabeth Forward nothing. Junior running back Landon Alexander, 221 yards rushing. This was the Warriors' 4th WPL title. And how many years they've been in as a jointure?
11.
11
years. 6 out of 11. Their best player, though, went down in the game with a dislocated elbow. Hall, who's going to Pitt.
The defensive back.
Defensive back. He's the best player on the field by far.
They got Bedford.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Buckle up, Bedford.
Buckle up.
I have no idea how
Bedford's
that'll affect
10-0. How that'll affect them.
Because his best player. I mean, you're talking about a Division I kid who covers the whole field.
Secondary. Absolutely.
And he's their best player on
It's
offense.
like losing your quarterback.
So it's amazing. How about the Alexander kid? They have 5 Division I's. He's not one of them.
He's,
No,
He's not one of them.
He's a junior, so give him another year.
seriously.
A 2A championship. Beaver Falls jumped out to a 36-0 lead over Stowe Rocks, then held on for a 43-30 win. Did they empty the bench? Was it a letdown for Stowe Rocks to come back? Was it a letdown?
You hit it, Eddie. No letdown.
Stowe Rocks just stormed back.
No,
They cleared the
oh,
bench.
no.
Okay.
They didn't get the first down against Beaver Falls first team.
Okay, so the coach
Yeah,
cleared
they
the bench.
did. They cleared the bench.
Which was
He said-
smart. Get
yeah.
those starters
Why
out
not?
of there.
You stay healthy for the next game because it's the Hounds.
Josh Huff, 104 yards rushing, 2 TDs. And here's a new kid. He hasn't made our spotlight all year. Sophomore running back Trey Singleton rushed for 128 yards. I don't know what happened to Shalik. Where was Shalik Livingston?
Yeah, Livingston usually gets the second handoff.
Was he bored?
Yeah, isn't this something though? In our pre-talk, we were laughing and talking about George. What'd you say about Beaver Falls in basketball last
No,
year?
they'll be playing somebody, and you'll get the box score. The dude had 14 points that didn't start. Like, that's almost impossible at a high
It
school.
happens every game.
That a kid would be good enough. I had them last year. They had 9 losses. The Shannick beat them. They go into the tournament 9-11 and whoop Fairview up at Edinburgh like
not
it
even
was
that.
nothing. Hey, one more thing, too. The Beaver Falls line. I say that, give them some credit, because here's a kid that isn't one of the stars rushing for 100.
28
The
yards.
line must be making something happen.
Now, at the beginning of the year, they had Huff listed at 6'2", 230. The lineup for the championship game, he's grown. He's 6'3", 240 now.
I told you he's not a running back. That's why I just.
I know.
He's
Is
not a
he
running
6'2",
back.
230, or is he 6'3", 240?
He's 6'3", 240.
All
He's
right.
not a running. He's going to end up being
A defensive end.
defensive end in college. There's no question in my mind when I look
And
at
they're
him.
going to use him on a goal line offense.
Only it won't be for Dino Babers.
No, it
No,
won't be. Dino's
no.
going to be gone.
Next, did you check as to why has Pitt tried to recruit him? Took a look at him?
Pitt looked at him.
Yeah,
Well, no,
they
they
offered?
They offered him.
Okay.
They just decided to go. You know, Beaver Falls is the one school that I say should play up. You know, that's the. Do you understand? If they stay where they're at in Double A,
They could play him.
they're going to win. They're going to win 10 in a row.
They'll push them.
could
No,
play
that's fact.
Oh, that's right. They'll have to. Yes.
Next up for Beaver Falls, 10-0. They take on 10-0 Wilmington. Wilmington 56-29 over Chestnut Ridge in District 10 playoffs. George, you said that they pile up 500 yards rushing?
Well, 2 guys had 500 and some. They had 700 yards total. Couldn't stop them. And early they were volleying just for like a quarter and a third. They put a couple together before half and had the kickoff, and that was it.
This game's at Wilmington?
That game was at Wilmington.
Yeah.
This next game's going to be down in Geneva, probably.
It is.
Oh, it's at Geneva.
Wait, no.
It's at Beaver Falls.
No, you're right.
It's
Yeah,
at Beaver
the last
Falls.
one
Next
was at
game. I'm
Wilmington.
talking about the next game.
2 are at home. Reynolds is playing at home this week.
Now,
Are they really?
Now,
Yeah.
let me ask you, who's going to win this game? What's it
I
gonna
have
come
Wilmington
down to?
close. I have Wilmington winning the game in a high-scoring game. That's what I'm. That's
First to
what-
40 wins.
That's what I think.
No.
That's what I
Maybe a
think.
little higher.
Maybe a little
Hey,
higher.
Eddie, I'll tell you what, 2 years ago, they played Wash High at Slippery Rock. And it was exactly the same. We just went, Wilmington outlasted them.
Now, don't forget, last year, Avonworth knocked off.
Well, they beat them
Wilmington.
pretty well, too.
Yeah, it was a high-scoring game in the 40s.
But
Here's
they
my
got 'em
thinking on this. I haven't seen Beaver Falls since I saw them early in the year, personally, up front. I think their lines have both improved a lot. I think the coaching staff's done a great job down
They
there.
got some big kids in
Oh, they
that
got big.
offensive
They got
line.
big. Oh, they're monsters. But they've got a lot better. So I picked Wilmington. But if Beaver Falls' lines got better, I'll pick Beaver Falls.
It'll be an interesting game, great one to watch. In 1A, Jeanette stuns Clerton 45-14. They avenge an earlier season loss by 5 points to the Bears and win their first WPL title since 2017. Next up for Jeanette, they take on 9-0 Reynolds.
At Reynolds.
At Reynolds.
I don't think anyone should be playing home this far. There are 2 of them. I saw there's another one.
I wonder why they're doing that, George. What's the reason?
Well, they're saying no one wants to give them workers.
Oh, because of the COVID.
That's what they're saying.
Okay, I see. Okay.
2 of them are going to Altoona, Central Valley and Pine.
You know what's interesting about Jeanette and Clareton? I don't think Clareton has ever taken a whooping like this in a long time.
No, not in the championship.
I was shocked of all the games. I think
And
all of us were.
it wasn't Jeanette's offense so much as it was the turnovers, and Jeanette capitalized on every single turnover. And then star running back Deontay for Clareton got hurt early in the game. First quarter, never returned.
So that will tell you that they say, all right, they can replace everybody. You can't replace a star.
Sanders,
A
Deontay
star.
Sanders.
Can you imagine those guys getting off the bus and transfer?
No, they can't.
They'll
They're gonna
see
They're gonna hear
cows
some
and
cows.
elk
They
and-
never saw a cow.
These guys from Jeanette, their eyes are going to, I swear, Eddie,
the truth.
the field's in the woods.
It's the truth.
But
Eddie.
I've been there. When I coached
Oh,
Royal City,
my
we played at
goodness.
Reynolds.
When those
Right.
bear come out in the end zone,
But
yeah, they're
in
not.
the
It's
same
a
token,
shock.
Reynolds
Oh, no.
hasn't seen
No, the
speed
speed-
like
no,
his.
No,
They haven't
close
seen
to-
that. They
not
haven't seen
close.
anything like
Now, see Farrell moving up.
I'll be shocked if
can't
this is a
get-
game.
It's like a college player going to the
Absolutely.
pros and saying, wow, this game is so fast. It takes a while to adjust to it, but
Hey.
they don't have enough time to
A
adjust to
quick
it.
Ryan Clark story, same way. He goes to LSU. He gets there, and he just can't believe what he's seeing. He calls his mom. He said, Mama, we made a mistake. I should have gone to Southern. She said, what do you mean? He said, there's a guy here named Booger that weighs 280. It's faster than me.
Yeah. Hey,
Booger was
you
far-
know what? After all the years of doing high school basketball games on radio and TV, the first college game we do,
Oh,
is Slippery Rock IP,
you
and
were
I'm
out
going,
of it.
holy smokes.
He was like amazed, yeah.
It was so fast, and
Yeah.
you're
Great point.
trying to
Great
catch up
point.
to it, but you adjust.
That's a great
As
point.
well. But
And the worst guy, think about-
nothing going from there to the next
Yeah,
level to
well-
Division One.
Oh, no,
Like if
3
you're
jumps.
doing Pitt and Syracuse.
No, we're over at Youngstown one day. They were like lifting weights, Elle and I. We're just looking at these creatures.
Yeah, they are.
And they're just okay in their league.
And I told you last year when I was on the sideline watching the Notre Dame Bowling Green game, I know Notre Dame's huge off it, but I looked at Bowling Green.
Same thing.
Oh my God, they got monsters over there too.
Yeah, the size, it's just the feet. The feet are
It's
way,
the quality.
the feet, the
Yeah.
quality
Yeah.
of the movement are way better in
Yes.
Division One. But Bowling Green has big people. But Jeanette has a tremendous young quarterback. So he'll be there 3 or 4.
Bradburn.
Yes.
He's thrown 29 touchdown
I said
passes this
20
year.
As a
He's
ninth or 10th
14
grader.
years old.
He's
Do you
14
guys
years
remember
old.
them coming on a few weeks ago, hitting that barrier of wins, that landmark? They hit some landmark.
700.
Was it 700?
700.
Oh, there you
Yes.
go.
And his brother Brett, he threw 3 touchdown passes to him
what I'm
last night.
saying.
He's going to Central Michigan.
So you know how
Not
good
bad.
they are.
Not
No,
bad.
no, we just gonna
Pretty
say,
good.
No.
It's Division
go
One.
see Central Michigan.
Right.
You'll know right
Wasn't
away.
there a
We
guy by the
we
name
watch
of-
them play every
wasn't
Tuesday
there
night.
A guy by the name of Antonio Brown.
He was there.
Central Michigan.
Yeah, his
Hey,
quarterback was terrific. That's why
Before-
that's why Elle and I knew about Brown when he came. Their quarterback that year was matching Tebow yard for yard,
Yes.
but it was the MAC, and they didn't give him his propers.
Hey, unfortunately for Central Catholic, COVID caused them to shut down, so they had to forfeit their game to McDowell. They finished 6-3. McDowell 7-0. They move on. And you look at some of these championship games. You have St. Joe's Prep sitting out there. They're 4-0. They've only played 4 games. Cathedral Prep, they're 4-2. There's another team in the state playoffs from out east. They're 2-2.
Yeah, we called that. We said, how do you justify what goes on here? It's so difficult. This
And
2020
McDowell
year.
had the COVID and sat 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We had McDowell.
Hey,
They're pretty good.
You know, I'm not going to criticize anyone from WPL or the PIA. They've had a tough
Yeah, I
job
can't
this
either.
year.
You're right, Eddie.
Even Amy Schuneman said, it's not fair, she said, but this is the best we can do.
Hey, we need
What more can you
we
want?
need to take a minute to the Mercer girls. They yanked them right out of the state soccer tournament last Wednesday.
Yanked
They're
them
on-
right out,
We're
huh?
on there.
COVID related?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. Thanks, George. That was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
PIAA boys soccer 4A Seneca Valley. They wipe out State College 6-0. Zach LaBelle had 2 goals. Next up for Seneca Valley, 15-1-1, the semis versus Cumberland Valley. That's a blowout.
That's like a 50-0 game in football. That's a 50-0. You know, that tells you the discrepancy of good soccer and not good soccer playing each
Whitfield,
other.
middle of the state.
Yes.
Mars put a beat down on Holliesburg.
Same thing, right?
Yep. Well, Mars 4, Hollidaysburg 1. How about Dane Beller? He had 3 goals. How many hat tricks has he had this year? He set a school record. He has 36 goals this season. Next up for Mars, 19-0, the semis versus Erie Cathedral Prep, and that will be at Mars.
At Mars.
Yes.
You know, I'd like to see that Mars. So I hope I can get a film or a YouTube or something, because I'd like to see somebody stand out in soccer. You know, like that kid scoring.
This kid's
This
good.
kid has to be tremendous.
He's a Scully
You know,
player.
yes.
I mean, 19 games, 36
Crazy.
goals.
Yes.
And in 2A quarterfinals, Deer Lakes 2, Karn City nothing. Karn City finishes a great year, 13-2-1. In the first round game, Karn City defeated Bedford 1-0 on a Dakota King goal.
Those are the kind of games I'm used to.
Yes.
1-0, 2-1 soccer. When you hear these other scores.
High-scoring games.
Yes.
Hey, girls soccer, North Allegheny 5, McDowell 1, Sarah Shapansky and Lucia Wells 2 goals each for North Allegheny. It's their first ever trip to a semifinal game. The Tigers 12-2, they take on Cumberland Valley. And in 3A, Mars girls 8, Warren nothing. Ava Lewis and Ellie Cofield 2 goals each. Mars 18-0. They're now ranked number 1 in the country by the Coaches Association poll.
Somebody called me from up north this weekend and asked, "How good is North Allegheny and Mars in these lesser sports?" And I said, "Well, Mars somewhat, but nothing like North Allegheny." I'm talking about track and volleyball. I mean, the sports that people don't follow a lot. They're unbelievable. They win every year.
It's funny you say that. I have a buddy, he ran into somebody, I was like an assistant AD or something at Seneca Valley. This is about 10 years ago. And he said something about their sports. And whoever it was said, no, actually, other than football and basketball, baseball,
Exactly.
wrestling, great in everything.
Yes.
And then, hey, they don't take it, but this Mars soccer sounds like it's different.
Spectacular.
Special.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in 2A, North Catholic 5, Clearfield 2, Jaden Sharpless, she had 3 goals. The second straight semis for North Catholic, 14-2-1. They take on Bedford at Mars. And by the way, going back, the Mars girls, they will take on Mechanicsburg. And in field hockey, 3A semifinals, Pine Richland 13-0. They play Central Dolphin. They have to travel up to Harrisburg.
That's the one
Central
sport.
Dolphins in here.
That's the one sport.
Where the East dominates.
The East really dominates.
Yes,
Yes.
and Pine's been good,
Yes.
but this is their
The
first
East
trip to the
dominates.
semis, and that's because of the
Amount of team.
reduced number
Exactly.
of
No,
teams.
hey, you notice how many times Bedford came up today?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
This is one of those classes, Hermitage went up there the other day and got pounded.
I like that, George. Good point. And sometimes
Yeah,
in those schools, a class comes through
special.
that just is really special, huh?
PIAA volleyball 4A, North Allegheny 3, McDowell nothing, Paige Miller 7 kills, Paige Morningstar 5 aces. Once again, she's headed to Notre Dame. It's the 4th straight semifinal match for North Allegheny. Next up for the Tigerettes, 18-0, they take on Landisville Hempfield at Altoona. And in 2A, North Catholic, second straight trip to the semis with a 3-0 win over Red Bank Valley. They're looking to defend their state championship. Allison Fetzko, 18 kills. Riley Wanda, 11 kills. Sydney Jones, 6 aces. Next up for North Catholic, 16-0. They take on Phillipsburg, Osceola.
That made me feel good about Elwood City. Elwood City gave a great match. And,
Yes.
So that tells you,
One of the only sets they
that tells
lost
you good
all year.
Elwood City is, yes.
That's a good trip for an 8 Altoona compared to Philly, Lansdale. That's an extra hour and a half.
I like when you said the Tigerettes. The Tigerettes are there all the time. I mean, geez,
Swimming.
They are the Tigerettes.
Honors, soccer honors, Dakota King of Karn City. He was named the Upper Allegheny Valley Soccer League Player of the Year. King had 26 goals this season. In volleyball, Seneca Valley Sarah White, she's an Ohio State recruit. She was named to the Under Armour All-American team, the 6-foot White. How about these stats the last 2 years? She has over 500 kills and over 100 aces the last 2 years.
For you people watching the show, if you hear Ohio State on the horizon, you know they're great. They don't take anybody great.
We had her. She's different.
Tremendous.
Yeah,
She's brutal.
Absolutely.
Brutal. That's a good
Yes.
word. Brutal.
And in recruiting, Butler swimmer David Bocci, he is committed to Clarion University. He's been outstanding, another outstanding year for him in this senior year coming up.
That's a big deal. Hey, you swim like that,
No
that's a
question,
big deal.
no question.
No, outstanding job. Well done, buddy. It's not easy.
Yep.
Our stories of the week. Let's go to the NFL. The Steelers win their 9th straight, 36-10 over Cincy. You could argue and make a case for the Steelers' passing combination of Ben Roethlisberger, Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, Claypool, James Washington, tight end, Eric Ebron. That it could be the NFL's best.
I have it as the best.
Yeah, you can make.
I have it as the best. I'm talking overall.
Individually,
Yeah.
you
Overall.
would take Travis Kelce.
Oh, yes.
And Tyreek Hill.
Right.
But combined overall,
Yeah.
they're pretty good. And so much for Ben not practicing last week. He threw for 333 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, is there a concern here? The running game for the third straight week, less than 50 yards rushing. Tomlin said no big deal. If we want to run, we can run. He seems kind of cavalier about it. I don't know if it's that easy to flip a switch and you can do it. The running game's not there, but they're 9-0. Should we even worry about it, or is it going to come back and haunt them in the playoffs?
I'm on your side on this, Manny. You know I never am.
Yeah.
They will not
Can't
beat
keep
Kansas
the ball.
City
No.
if they cannot run the
What
football.
do you mean
a
you're
little
never are? I've never been wrong with you. What are you talking about? What?
I want to get after them a little
No,
bit.
they
I
have
don't-
to run.
I don't care. They need to run the ball more. They're up 22 points and pass every play.
bit. Yeah, I saw
Now, that makes no sense.
And I'll add to that by saying this. Cincinnati, empty set after empty set, when Perrine ran for a nice run, 12, 14 yards, and they stopped running the ball. And the Steelers have shown the last few weeks they're vulnerable to the run.
Yeah.
I don't understand Cincy why they abandoned it, because you're not going to beat the Steelers throwing 50 passes all the time.
Yeah, 2 thoughts on that. Cincinnati has the modern coach, I call it the modern coach, who thinks they got to be fancy to win. And then you watch Belichick last night, who said, "Listen, I'm not going to beat anybody throwing the football,
No.
so I'm going to run it every play and try to win 14-12."
I think
You know,
was he reading Lombardi's book, Run
I
the
mean,
Daylight?
but he figured it out
They
that
beat
all
them
these
up.
all these modern coaches
Right.
want to do all this stuff. And Coach McCluskey, the greatest basketball coach, did that. He started out by running like
You
crazy.
sure we got an email that time I asked you about that?
He was running, and then he said the East started running like crazy. He said, I'm gonna teach motion. I'm gonna slow the game down. He said, so that's what Belichick did last night. If you're gonna play nuts, I'll play this way.
And it was a bad weather Super Bowl. I want New England.
Oh, so do I.
And since you guys brought that game up, I'm going to say the Baltimore, I'm taking them out of our power rankings because I have no confidence in them that they could come from behind and win. Jackson has regressed in passing. They have no deep threat passing. More and more
Zero.
teams are crowding up against them and are throwing that zone against them and say, go ahead, we'll give you the 6-yard pass. We don't trust you could beat us deep.
You know, they scare me against Pittsburgh, though, because I don't think the Pittsburgh's run defense is any good.
No, I think they're going to run on the
I'm scared
Steelers.
they're going to run right down the Steelers' throat. That's
Right.
what
They
I worry
mirrored
about.
him last night. They
I worry
didn't
about
rush
that.
him, and they mirrored him.
Right.
They were smart.
They just
and
floated
they know
in there.
that he can't pinpoint.
And I was just thinking how I told George when they put up the stat they lost 13 starters from last year. Before the game, if you'd have told me you were going to take New England, I'd say, are you crazy? They have no weapons, but they pounded the ball on
Oh, no, I never seen Baltimore get, and Collinsworth made a great point.
Manhandled,
that
physically.
they like to get the third down and show exotic defenses. They never got the third down. It was 2nd and 2 all night. They ran the ball down the
You know, and I'm watching that game and I'm thinking they're 4-5 now. What Belichick has always said, things really don't become important in the NFL till the last 8
And that's why the Steelers got to keep playing well. That's
Yes.
why they have to, because now's the time to play well.
And next up for them, they're at Jacksonville, 1-8 Jacksonville. The Steelers favored by 10. And now this is your traditional trap game because the following Thursday, Thanksgiving night, they have Baltimore.
Well, you can see the NFL. I mean, Jets almost beat New England the week before.
Jacksonville almost beat
Dallas
Green
almost
Bay.
beat Pittsburgh. Jacksonville almost beat Green Bay.
And New England
So
beat
please
Baltimore.
don't look at records
Right.
in the NFL.
And it's a big game for Pittsburgh off there because if Oakland, Las Vegas can beat the Chiefs again, Pittsburgh's going to have home field.
Hey, how about this game? A miracle in the desert, or I'm calling it the Hail Murray, with one play left and down 30-26. And I thought Buffalo made a tremendous comeback on a great touchdown pass by Josh Allen. And there's Kyler Murray scrambling to his left, throws the Hail Mary, and DeAndre Hopkins out jumps 3 guys. And I don't know why they had anybody up covering the short middle of the field. For what reason? There were only 9
But there
seconds
were 3 guys
left.
on them, and I mean,
And
they
still,
had
they
3
should have
guys
knocked it
on 'em.
off.
I always, as a football coach, and no one teaches it, I got to admit, I did. They should teach that 2 guys should go up for the ball, and the other guy should crush,
That-
wipe out.
that guy
pocket.
didn't.
They don't teach it.
The
So-
third
so
guy
all
in.
three guys go for the
Albert,
ball.
The third guy in could have done
No,
that.
that's what you do. That's what you teach, though. You
He
teach
did not do it.
Two guys go over the ball, one guy, crush them.
Who used to put their tight end back there in games? They're 6'5" or 6'6".
Kelsey
tight
goes
end.
back. I know
Someone,
Kelsey does.
someone did
Well,
that.
remember, they used to put a guy back
Tony
there to
Gonzalez
block
did.
field
Gonzalez
goals.
did too. Gonzalez went back
RCO.
there.
I
Right.
think they used Gronkowski a couple
Yeah, they
times.
did.
Remember, he
They
couldn't
have.
move the one time. Gronk couldn't catch the guy for Miami, and they
Yes,
criticized
that happened.
Belichick for having him back there.
Gonzalez was a basketball
Gonzalez was
player.
the best
Absolutely.
doing it.
Absolutely.
Hey, here's trending up a team I'm impressed with. They beat up Tennessee. The Colts 34, Tennessee
They're dangerous.
17. Phillip Rivers looked fantastic, 29 to 39 for 306 yards. But I'll tell you what impressed me. The Indy offensive line beat Tennessee up. They have maybe the best offensive
They
line
do
in pro
have.
football.
They have the second best.
Who's the best?
Pittsburgh's the best. Pittsburgh has the best.
I
offensive
don't-
line.
I don't agree
Oh,
there.
yeah.
No, but I
Not
don't
run
think
block,
that-
but pass blocking by far the best.
But I mean,
He stands back
overall
there.
run and pass, I think
I
it's
like
Indy.
Steelers. I like Steelers.
I take Indies overall. Hey, our power rankings, I still have the Steelers number one, not by much over Kansas City. The Saints third, Breeze, a rib injury. Doubtful if he plays this week against Atlanta. Green Bay in there at 7-2. Tampa with a big rebound when Brady came back. Give him credit, threw for 300 and some yards and 3 touchdown passes.
Brown had some catches.
Yes,
Yeah.
he had 7 for 69
There
yards.
you go.
I'm not going to drop Buffalo that much. They lost on the road in the final play. They're still very dangerous. But here are two teams trending. I don't think anyone wants to play them in the playoffs. It's Miami, Arizona, and you could throw Vegas in there too.
Best coach in football this year in football. Miami's coach.
Miami's, tremendous job.
question.
Tremendous job.
He's been unbelievable.
Now let's go to college football. 8 more games canceled due to COVID. That's over 50 now. Pitt and Georgia Tech canceled. Next up for Pitt, they're home against Virginia Tech. Nebraska 30, Penn State 23, the 4th straight loss for Penn State, first time since 2001. They play Iowa this week. They've never started 0-5.
Get ready.
They had more than 200 yards offense than Nebraska, but there's something out of sync with this team. The offensive line breaks down at times. The secondary misses receivers
tell you
that
what
are
it
wide
is.
open. What is it?
Quarterback.
Oh, he got benched. They don't have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're out of sync. That's a good word.
The last,
They
the
don't
last
do- they don't
few
do
years,
anything great.
McSorley, and, he would dance
Right.
around a little bit. The Indiana game, they had 200 more yards.
Yes. When you don't have a quarterback at any level,
Yeah.
I don't care what else, you
Absolutely.
you have problems. Hey, our power rankings, Alabama, number 1, postponed against LSU. Number 2, Notre Dame, 8-0, 45-31 over BC.
That was a really good win for Notre Dame.
Yeah, coming
That was a
off
really-
an
yeah, that was a
emotional
really good
game. Ian Book, 368 total yards. He's had nearly 800 total yards the last 2 weeks. Ohio State postponed against Maryland. Come up next, playing Indiana. Indiana's 4-0, and Ohio State favored by 20. Clemson, number 4, they're playing Florida State. They're favored by 33.
It's not enough.
It's not enough,
No,
that's
it's
right.
not.
And Florida, Cincy, Miami, Indiana, Northwestern, Texas A&M. Now, you guys tell me here what's wrong with this. The ESPN poll has number 25 LSU 2-2, number 23 Penn State 0-4, and number 21 Virginia Tech 4-4. Who's ranking these teams?
That's why you watch us. Don't watch it.
I can't
That's as
believe
stupid-
it.
That's as stupid as you can get.
Did you see the news out of LSU today?
No.
They're going to be shutting them down.
Yes.
9 alleged rapes.
Hey, we want to finish this with some passings. Hall of Famer Paul Hornung, the Notre Dame Golden Boy, 84 Green Bay Packers, 4 titles in a Super Bowl. Tremendous career, 176 points in 1960, 12 games. LaDainian Thompson broke it in 16, and his teammate Herb Adderley died at the age of 81.
2 of my favorite guys have ever play.
Yeah, Herb Adderley
Herb Adderley
was
tremendous.
Mel Blount before
Yeah, he
Mel
was. He was
Blount.
tremendous, yes.
And Tommy Heinsohn, Hall of Famer,
Another
also died
unbelievable.
86.
Never saw a shot he didn't like. He
Yeah.
fired from anywhere.
That's what Sam Jones said. He loved it because Auerbach would just crush Heinsohn if they made it. He was his whipping boy.
More and
We've
more,
all had that happen.
More and more of those players from the great Packer
Yeah.
teams
That's-
that passed.
how about these names that have passed
Yeah.
our heroes?
The
Believe
whole
me,
backfield's
yes.
gone
Yes.
from Green Bay. That is it for us. We've run out of time. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next week.